Hello everyone, my name is Mayank Pahwa. I am going to take a chapter called Polynomials in Mathematics Class 10 CBSE. The same chapter is also there in Class 9 CBSE. So I request you all to have a quick glance of Class 9 Polynomials, because in that chapter a very basic understanding of the polynomial is there. So if you are thorough with that particular concept, you are able to grasp all the concepts in this chapter in a very simple way. Now, let's move in the subtopics which we are going to cover in this chapter. The subtopics are like this: algebraic expressions, polynomials, degree and terms of polynomials, types of polynomials, zeros, geometrical meaning, relationship between zeros and coefficient, division algorithm, etc. So let's move on the subtopics here one by one. First of all, we should know about a term called algebraic expressions. I will say you with the help of one example. I've written one idea. First of all, let's read the definition here. Algebraic expression is an expression made up of variables, constants, along with mathematical operators. Now, what do you mean by variable? What do you mean by constant? The word constant means which cannot be changed. If it is fixed, it's not able to it's not going to be changed, right? Because it gets fixed here. Variable means which actually vary, which actually changes. So how do I take it in the mathematical form? Let's understand this. This is the basic idea of an algebraic expression. The basic idea here is constant multiplied by variable, constant multiplied by variable to the power rational number. Now, how do I mean it? Let's take one very simple example. Let's say if I write 3x, 3x to the power, let's say I write to the power 2 by 3. Now understand one thing. This x is known as variable. This is what? This is variable. Sorry for that. So this is variable here. Now variable means I'll put as many values of, if I put x is equal to 1, I'll get 3 into 1 to the power 2 by 3. If I put x is equal to 2, so I'll get 3 into 2 to the power 2 by 3. So every time I put different value of x, I'll get different number. That means the value of x can be changed. So that's why it becomes what? Variable, because in the variable the value changes. Whereas the number along with x, associated with x, is this 3, right? So this 3 is nothing. This is basically a coefficient, or you can say a constant. So this 3 is nothing. Sorry. So this 3 is basically a coefficient of x. This is what? Coefficient of x. Or you can also say this number is a constant. This is also a constant. Why? See. Because 3 is number. It cannot be changed. 3 means 3. You cannot make 3 as 4. You cannot make 3 as 5, because so 3 so 3 is what? It is a fixed term. It cannot be changed, right? So now how do I form any algebraic expression? You need to follow this basic idea: constant multiplied by variable to the power rational number. How? I've taken the example in front of you. This is 3, this is x to the power 2 by 3. Now this is constant, this is variable. So constant multiplied by variable to the power rational number. The basic idea is here rational number, and we know all the rational numbers are that numbers which takes the form of p by q. Now here this is 2 by 3. So 2 by 3 here means this is p, this is q. It takes the form of p by q. So that means this 3x to the power 2 by 3 is a algebraic expression. Why? Because it follows a basic idea of algebraic expression. What is basic idea? Constant multiplied by variable to the power rational number. So this is an idea of this algebraic expression. Now, what about this? If I say 3x to the power 2, this is also an algebraic expression. Why? Again, 3 is a constant, x is a variable, to the power 2. Now, we can write 2 as 2 upon 1. That means, again, it takes a form of p by q. So 2 is also an integer, and we know that all integers are rational numbers. This we have already studied in the previous classes. Especially in class 9, when we gone through a number system, we have gone through the rational number part, right? So if you are not aware of it, please go through class 9, have a quick glance of all the basics which you have learned in previous class, right? So 3x to the power 2 is also again a algebraic expression. This is a basic idea here which I want to convey with you. Now, move towards the next point here. This I have already explained. The constant in each term is referred to as coefficient. Means, let's say if this is a x, so this is called coefficient of x, and this coefficient is also known as constant, right? Because this number cannot be changed, whereas the x is what? It is a variable. It is a variable. So algebraic expression can have any number of terms. Yes, any number of terms it can have. Let's say if I write 3x to the power 2 plus 3x plus 4x cube, something like this. Yes, it is an algebraic expression. Why? And it contains one term, two term, three term. One term means this 3x square, this is a constant, this is a variable to the power rational number. Again, this is a constant, this is variable to the power what? Rational number. Same thing, constant, variable to the power rational number. So now it contains any number of terms. There is no limit, right? And coefficient of each term can be any real number. Yes, it can be any real number. Because let's say I write root 2x square. Yes, this is also an algebraic expression, but because root 2 is nothing, it's a number, so it's a coefficient, you can say, and it is also a constant, it cannot be changed. Whereas x is a variable, and again 2 is a power of that variable, so this is a rational number, right? The power is what? Rational number. So this is again, it takes a form of algebraic expression because it follows a basic idea. And what is the basic idea? This basic idea is constant multiplied by variable to the power rational number. So if you follow the basic idea, you will never face any difficulty. So this is the point out here. And the last point here is the exponent. It must be rational number. Yes, it must be rational number. That's the basic idea now we are following here. So just follow the basic idea. You are able to form algebraic expression of any terms, right? Any terms. Next here is polynomial. See, the only one difference between polynomial and algebraic expression is that very simple. In algebraic expression, what is the basic idea? The basic idea here is, so in algebraic expression, the basic idea is constant multiplied by variable to the power rational number. This is an algebraic expression. Now, what do you mean of polynomial? In polynomial, the basic idea here is constant multiplied by variable to the power whole number. To the power whole number. This is the difference. Only this is different. Here we have rational number, but here we have whole number. And what are whole number? Whole numbers are 0, 1, 2, 3 goes up to infinity. Means 1, 2, 3 goes up to infinity means what? Natural numbers. And if we add 0 along with natural numbers, it becomes what? Whole number. So whole numbers are nothing, 0 plus all natural numbers. That means all the counting numbers. All natural numbers are whole number. So this is a basic idea of polynomial and difference between an algebraic expression and polynomials, right? So let's take any layman example of polynomial. Let's say if I take like this, if I say here 3x to the power 2. Yes. Now first of all, tell me, is it a polynomial 3x to the power 2? Yes, it is a polynomial. Why? Because it follows a basic idea. Basic idea is what? Basic idea is constant multiplied by variable to the power whole number or to become a polynomial. Now this 3 is what? Constant. X is what? Variable. All the variables are like this: x, y, z, t, something like this. These all things are called variables. So this 3 is a constant, x is a variable, and power 2. So 2 is what? It is nothing. So 2 is actually a whole number. 2 is a whole number. So that means 3x to the power 2 is a polynomial. It is a polynomial. Now tell me one thing. Is this 3x to the power 2 is an algebraic expression also? Yes, it is an algebraic expression. Why? Because it follows the basic idea also of algebraic expression. What is the basic idea? Constant multiplied by variable to the power rational number. So yes, if I write 3x to the power 2, 3 is constant, x is variable, and this 2 is a rational number also. Rational number means take this form of p by q. Now how it is p by q? This 2, we can write 2 as a 2 by 1. So it becomes 2 becomes 1, this becomes q. So it takes the form of p by q. So it becomes what? Rational number. So this is that means. Now tell me one thing. Let's understand that, because we know this, we have studied already in class 9th itself here all the numbers. Now tell me here, rational numbers is a big circle here. So can I say all the whole numbers are a part of rational number? Yes, it is. So all the whole numbers are included in where? In rational numbers. But all rational numbers are not whole numbers? Yes, exactly. Because if I say x to the power 3 by 2, this is not a whole number, na? Because in whole number there is no fraction like anything. But here in the rational number, it is a rational number. It is a rational number because it takes the form of p by q. So that means all the whole numbers comes under rational number, but all the rational numbers are not come under whole numbers. So if all the whole numbers are coming under rational number, that means all the polynomials are coming under algebraic expression, because in polynomial only we use the power of whole number along with variable. That means all the polynomials are a part of algebraic expression because all whole numbers are a part of rational number. I hope you get this point. Very, very important concept is this, right? So this is the basic idea of an algebraic expression and in polynomial. So you can write, you can see here, algebraic expression can have exponents that are rational numbers. Yes, they have rational numbers. However, the polynomial is an algebraic expression in which exponent is a whole number. We have already studied that. He has taken some example here. 5x to the power square plus 3x plus 1 is an example of polynomial. Yes, it is a polynomial and it is an algebraic expression as well. How? Look at this. This is a polynomial. 5 is what? Constant. X is what? Variable to the power whole number. So this first term is a polynomial. Let's check for second term, 3x. So 3 is a constant. X is a variable. X to the power 1. So this 1 is again what? It is a whole number. Again, it follows the process of polynomial. Then what about this 1? See, we can write 1 as x to the power 1 multiplied by x to the power 0. There is no problem in that. And if we write 1 like this, because anything to the power 0, anything to the power 0 is always 1, is always 1. So that's why we have written 1 as 1 multiplied by x to the power 0. Now this 1 is constant, x is variable to the power 0. 0 here means whole number. So it follows the process of polynomial, right? It follows the process of polynomials. So all the terms follows the idea of polynomial. That means it is a polynomial. And this equation also follows the algebraic expression idea. Algebraic expression means here what? Constant multiplied by variable to the power rational number. So you can see all the terms here. First 5x square, yes, 5x square follows this. 5 is constant, x is variable to the power 2. 2 is a rational number too. Also because we can write 2 as what? 2 upon 1. So it takes the form of p by q, means then it becomes what? Rational number. So next one is 3x. Yes, 3x is also a rational number. It follows a rational number. It follows a this 3x. So you can write. We can think like this. This is actually 3x to the power 1, right? So this is constant. X is variable. Again, the variable power is 1. That means it is a rational number because we can write 1 as 1 by 1. So it takes the form of p by q. And the last again is what? Single 1. So if I take 1 here, yes, this is also a rational number. How? We can write 1 as like this. This is 1 into x to the power 0. So this is constant, this is variable, this is what? Rational number. So in this way, this equation is also a algebraic expression. So I hope you get this point. Now look at the next equation, 5x. Yes, so this is 5x plus 3 under root x. So equation here is 5x plus 3 under root x. We can write under root x as like this, 1 by 2, same thing. Now you can check, this is an algebraic expression, but this is not a polynomial. This is not a polynomial. Why? First of all, check why it is algebraic expression, because it follows a basic idea of algebraic expression. What is the basic idea? Basic idea is constant multiplied by variable to the power rational number. So 5x follow this? Yes. Whereas 5 is a constant, x is a variable, and the power is what? 1. 1 is what? Rational number. Yes, it follows. Then 3x to the power 1 by 2, is it follow? Yes, 3 is a constant, x is a variable to the power rational number. 1 by 2 is a rational number. Yes, it follows it. So it is an algebraic expression. Now let me check. Is it an polynomial? So first term is 5x to the power 1. Yes, this is a polynomial. Why? Because this is a constant, this is variable to the power whole number. Yes, 1 is a whole number, so it follows a idea of polynomial. And the next term is 3x to the power 1 by 2. Yes, so 3 is constant, x is variable to the power, this is not a whole number. Here 1 by 2 is not a whole number. It is a rational number, but it is not a whole number, so it does not follow an idea of polynomial. So if all the terms are not polynomial here in an equation, then the whole term is not a polynomial. So to become a polynomial, every term should becomes a polynomial. Every term should take a idea of polynomial. So then only it will become a polynomial, right? I hope you get this point. So that's why this is not a polynomial, because the number 1 by 2 is not a whole number. So I have explained a very well way about algebraic expression and polynomial. I hope now you are aware of this concept. Now let's move towards the next point. What is the degree of a polynomial? Degree of a polynomial means nothing. Highest power of anything, highest power of a variable is called a degree. Highest power of variable is called a degree. Now, what do you mean? What I mean by it? Let us take some examples. If I say 3x, right? Now, I said highest power of a variable, that is called degree. In 3x, what is the variable? Variable is x. Variable is x. And what is the power of x? The power is 1. So the highest power of x is what? 1. So 1 is the degree. 1 is called a degree in what? 3x. So 3x, right? So 3x degree is what? 1. Now let us take this equation, x square plus 2x plus 3. So degree is always the highest power on the variable, highest power. Now, if you look at this 2x, in this highest power is what? 1. this is 2. In this highest power is what? 2. Because both are variables. This x is also variable. This is also variable. But we need to find the highest power. So highest power in this equation is what? 2. Because 2 is the highest power available on the variable. I hope you get this point. So degree is nothing. It is the highest power on variable. Now variable can be anything. It can be x, it can be y, it can be z. But here in this equation only one variable is there, that is variable x. In that variable only full equation was there, right? So I hope you get this point. So you need to, degrees concept is very important. So degree is nothing. It is the highest power, or you can say exponent on the variable in a polynomial. Because we are learn here about degree of a polynomial. So that's why I'm telling in the context of polynomial only. Now, types of polynomials. Polynomials can be classified on the basis of number of terms on the degree of a polynomial. On the basis of degree of polynomial. So let's classify it. First of all, we classify polynomial on the basis of terms. On the basis of term. Monomial, binomial, trinomial. If a polynomial contains only one term, it is called monomial. Here I have taken the examples here. 2x is only a single term, 6x squared is a single term, 9xy is also a single term. This is a single term of two variables. I hope you get this point. So this is a monomial. Monomial means a polynomial having a one term. In the same context, the next here is binomial. So binomial means a polynomial with two terms. I've taken some examples here. 4x squared plus x. Yes, 4x is one term, next x is one term. So it becomes two terms. 5x plus 4. 4 is one term, 5x is one term, right? So it becomes what? A polynomial having two terms. Now next here is trinomial. Trinomial means a polynomial with three terms is called trinomial. Here in this example, x square is 3, x square one term, 3x another term, 4 is another term. So I hope you get this point. Next here is types of polynomials based upon the degree. Degree we have just read. Degree is nothing. It is the highest power on the variable. So types of polynomials based on degree. If in any polynomial the highest degree is 1, then it is called a linear polynomial. Take this example 4x plus 1. In 4x plus 1, the highest degree is what? 1. Because the highest power of x is what? 1 here. And because x is a variable, so highest power on the variable is called degree. So here the highest power is what? 1. So the degree is 1 because the highest power is 1. So whenever the degree is 1, it is called what? Linear polynomial. And if the degree is 2, it is called a quadratic polynomial. So you can say this example 5x squared plus 8x plus 5. In this, the highest power is 2 on the variable x. Then that means degree is 2. So when the degree is 2, it is called quadratic polynomial. So in the same context, if we have a highest degree is 3, that is called a cubic polynomial. Here the example here. Last example 3x cubed plus 5x squared plus 9x plus 15. So you can see out here, this is the highest power is 3 here. So that's why it is called a cubic polynomial. So I hope we get this point. Now, next very important concept is that is called zeros of a polynomial. Now, what do you mean by a zero of a polynomial? Zero of a polynomial, let's read the definition here. Zero of a polynomial is the value of x. Zero of a polynomial px is the value of x for which the value of px becomes 0. If k is a 0 of px, then pk is equal to 0. Let's understand it with the help of example. Consider a polynomial like this. This is a polynomial, right? So polynomial is given to you x square minus 3x plus 2. Now we need to find a 0 of a polynomial. There must be one value, there must be a value of x for which this equation px will become 0. there must be a value of x. So if I apply that value of x in this equation, it becomes 0. It becomes what? 0. And when it becomes 0, that value is called a 0 of that particular polynomial. I hope you get this point. Now let's say, for example, if x is 1, let's say I'll put x is equal to 1. When I put x is equal to 1, let's take the value of px then. So here, we'll put out here. When I put x is equal to 1, the equation becomes what? P1, that is 1. So let's solve out here. Let's solve it by ourselves. This is x square minus 3x plus 2, right? So if I put x is equal to 1, this is 1, because 1 square minus 3 into 1 plus 2, that's like this. So that becomes 1 minus 3 plus 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3, that means 3 minus 3, that is equal to what? 0. So that means at this particular value of x, the full equation becomes what? 0. It becomes 0. That means this p1, this 1 is basically nothing. This is called a 0 of the polynomial, because this 1 is the value of x at which full polynomial becomes what? 0. I hope you get this point. So since px becomes 0 at what x is equal to 1, then we can say that 1 is a 0 of a polynomial. So I hope you get this point. So whenever a polynomial px, it becomes 0 at a certain value of x, that value is called a 0 of a polynomial. So very important concept. So let's move upon towards the geometrical meaning of zeros of a polynomial. So we have to understand the geometrical meaning. Here we use the graphs. We use the graph here. Just now we have gone through that linear polynomial, quadratic polynomial. So what was that linear polynomial? Linear polynomial is that polynomial in which the highest degree is 1, right? Highest degree is 1. So let's understand the geometrical meaning of linear polynomial. In general, for a linear polynomial ax plus b, the graph of y is equal to ax plus b is a straight line which intersects x-axis at exactly one point. Therefore, the linear polynomial has exactly 1, 0, namely the x coordinate of the point where the graph intersects the x-axis. Now, what is meant by this? Let's understand it with the help of an example and in a diagram. You can have a fair idea. Now, how this? Now, let's say I have taken this graph y is equal to 2x minus 3. Now, this equation y is equal to 2x minus 3, in this the highest degree is 1, right? For the variables, when the highest degree is 1, then it is called what? A linear polynomial. So we are looking for a geometrical meaning of linear polynomial. Now let's understand this. I have taken x. This is y is equal to 2x minus 3, right? Now let's say here, if I put x is equal to 0, if I put x is equal to 0, then now let's say here just one let's understand it like this. Let's say use the graph here. See, it is actually nothing. I'll just show you one thing here. I'll try to explain this some other way. Let's say like this. If I take any graph like this, right? So this is what origin. This is on the positive side. This is on the negative side. This is called 1, 2, 3. Here it is -1, -2, -3 like this. That point is clear to you? Now, let's say here. Now here he says the graph of this particular line, the graph of this equation is a straight line passing through these 2 points, Now, first of all, you need to locate these points on a graph. Let's say you can see in this diagram. Here, first coordinate shows about the x-axis, second is for the y-axis. So x is for 0 and y is for -3. So this is the -3 here because this is the y-axis and this is the x-axis, right? Then next here is for x is 3 by 2. So 3 by 2 means around 1.5. So it will be lie here. And y is what? 0. Y is what? 0. So I hope you get this point. Now, one point lies here and one point lies here. And he says the equation of this line is a straight line passing through these points. So this is a straight line passing through these 2 points. So let's join this straight line like this. This is a straight line. Right? So this is a straight line. Now, understand one thing. Why the linear polynomial is having a degree 1? See, always understand here. You need to find always on the x-axis. That you need to check on the x-axis how many points are there which are touching the x-axis, Now here, this is a line, straight line, but this straight line touches the x-axis at only one point, and this point here is 3 by 2. Now it can be any point, depends upon the equation, right? But here, this is the straight line and this touches the x-axis as this at this particular point, that is 3 by 2. So the number of points touch on the x-axis of how much? 1. So you need to check the number of points touch on the x-axis. Here it is 1. So this 1 is basically called a degree of that particular polynomial, right? So if degree is 1, that is called a linear polynomial. Now how it becomes, so you need, how you check in the graph? So if in the graph, if there is only one point touches on this particular x-axis, that means the degree is 1. That means the degree is 1. This is the simple thing which I want to convey to you. So I hope you get this point here. Clear? Now let's say here, let's understand this with some more geometrical representation. Previously we have gone through geometrical representation of linear polynomial, where we understand if there is one point touch on the x-axis, then the degree will become 1. But if there will be a 2-point touch on the x-axis, the degree will be 2. Now very common sense here, degree is 1 in linear polynomial. Why? Because the highest power on variable is 1. Highest power on variable is what? 1. Now let's talk about the quadratic polynomial. If I take any example in quadratic polynomial, let's say I'll take 3x square plus 4x plus 2. This is the quadratic polynomial. In quadratic polynomial, always the highest degree is 2. Here, the highest degree is 2. So that means if the highest degree is 2, and if I look in the graph side, there must be 2 points which are touching on the x-axis. Because just now we have learned in the linear polynomial where the degree is 1. If the degree is 1 means there is only one point which touches the x-axis. But now this is the quadratic polynomial, that means the degree is 2. So if the degree is 2, there must be 2 points which touch on the x-axis. Yes, that's a point. So here it cut the x-axis at 0 and 1 or 2 points right? So there can be a maximum 2 points. So there can be a maximum 2 points which can cut the x-axis in the graphical representation of quadratic polynomial. Maximum 2 points. It can be minimum. It can be 0 point. There can be no point touch. It can be 1 point, or it can be maximum 2 points. Why maximum 2? Because the maximum degree is 2. That is the point order. And very important, the graphical representation of quadratic polynomial is always a parabola. It is always a parabola. And what about the linear polynomial? Just now we have said it, for linear polynomial it is always a straight line. Always a straight line. I hope we get this point. So it will always become a straight line, whereas in the quadratic polynomial, it will always become what? Will become a parabola. So that's a point out here. So let's understand it with the help of geometrical diagram. Yes, we have a 2-3 cases here. Case number 1, because why they are different cases? Because just now I told it can have a degree 1, degree 2, degree 2, degree 1 or maximum degree 2. That means it may not touch the x-axis at all, because if it does not touch the x-axis, then degree will become 0, right? Because there will be no when the degree is 0, that means it does not touch the x-axis. So if the degree is 1, there is only one point touch the x-axis, and degree is 2, there are maximum 2 points which touch the x-axis. I hope you get this point. Now, first case is the graph cuts x-axis at two distinct points. So when I'm saying about 2 points, that means degree must be highest here is 2. Now let's say here, we have studied the graph will becomes a parabolic shape in quadratic equation. Yes. Now here see this diagram here. There are 2 points here. Point number 1 and this is point number 2. On these points, these both points lies where? On the x-axis. This is x-axis, this is y-axis. So this parabola touches the x-axis on 2 points. Now it touches the axis on 2 points. That means degree will become what? 2. I hope you get this point. Now you can see this parabola. This also touches the x-axis on 2 points. This is x-axis, right? So here also degree is 2. This is the first case here, right? So degree is 2 means there are 2 zeros in this case. 2 zeros in this case. This is the relation between degree and 0. See, very, very simple. 1 degree means 1 0 and 2 degree means there are 2 zeros. 2 degree means 2 zeros, right? Why it is like this? Because just now we have studied 0 is 0. Just now we have studied, right? What is the zeros of a polynomial? The value of x and becomes the full polynomial equation becomes what? 0, and that value is called a zero of a polynomial. And that particular value, the 0 value, is also in the relationship with the degree, right? So the degree is 1, we have a 1 0. If the degree is 2, we have a 2 zeros. That's a point out. So very, very important point. You need to remember this. And why it is like this? Because it is very, very obvious. See, look in the graph. If you look at the diagram here, let's say in this diagram, case number 2, the graph cut x-axis at exactly 1 point. This is the 1 point here, x-axis. So here the degree is 1. So if degree is 1 means only there is only a 1 0 of this polynomial. Why? Because why I say degree 1 means 1 0? Because this degree at this particular degree, right? This is this particular value at this particular value only. That means this is the point on this parabola. So if this is the point touches the x-axis, whenever there is a point touches the x-axis, right? It must satisfy that particular equation of parabola, right? So that of this because here the equation is of what? Polynomial, which lies in the form of parabola here in the form of quadratic equation. So that means this is a point which actually satisfy the equation. But when it is satisfy the equation, that means that equation will becomes what? 0, right? Equation becomes what? 0 at that particular point. So you just need to remember degree 1 means 1 0, degree 2 means 2 0. I hope you get this point. We'll again set it out in the various examples which are going to come now. So case number 3, see, In this case number 3, the parabola is not touching the x-axis. If they are not touching the x-axis, so there is no point touching the x-axis. If there is no point, there is no degree, or if no degree means no zero. So no zero, no degree. That's it. Now let's come towards a question here. Just now we have learned only one thing from one very important thing in the geometrical concept of polynomials. We need to check the number of points touches on the x-axis. If the number of point is 1, degree is 1 or 0 is also 1. If the number of points are 2 touches the x-axis, degree will become 2 or 0 become 2. Number of points are 3, then degree will become 3 and zeros will become 3. I hope you get this point. Now, this is an example from NCERT. You need to find the number of zeros of the graph y is equal to px. Number of zeros means we need to check on x-axis how many points are touching. Let's say in example number 1, this first graph, yeah, there are six graph means 6 questions here. Now let's check for the first graph here. You can see there is no point touch on the x-axis because the line goes parallel to x-axis, but it does not cross like this. It does not cross like anywhere on the x-axis. So if it does not touch the x-axis means there will be no zero, there will be no degree because no touching. So if it does not touch on the x-axis, that means degree will become 0 and 0 degree, and there will be no zeros of a polynomial. I hope you get this point. Now see in the second equation, the second graph, there is a 1 point. This is the 1 point in x-axis where it touches. So 1 point means 1 0. 1 0 means 1 degree. I hope you get this point. Very, very simple here. So I've explained this. Okay, tell me about the next diagram. So next here is 1 point, 2 point, 3 point on the x-axis, right? As this is full x-axis. So these 3 points are here on which this graph touch, on this which line touches. So 3 points are here. That means degree will become what? 3, or zeros will become what? 3. 3 degree means 3 0. 2 degree means 2 0. 1 degree means 1 0. Clear? So these are the 3 questions. I have explained 3 questions with you. Next 3 you have to do it by yourself. This is the homework, and after solving this, solutions are here. You can check it from this. You can check from the solutions here. I hope you get this point, right? First of all, try it by yourself. If you still find it difficulty, check the solutions, right? So I don't think you have to require any kind of solution now, because I think it's very simple. You can go through it, right, and then check the solutions. First solve it by yourself and check the solutions here, check the answers. Now come towards the next concept. So next concept here is the relationship between zeros and coefficients of a polynomial. So we have understood the concept of zeros of a polynomial. So we need to find the relationship between zeros and coefficient. So it is actually nothing. See, first of all, we are looking it for quadratic polynomial. Now, quadratic polynomial means that polynomial which have a highest degree where but 2. Highest degree is what? 2. We have gone through that. Degree is 1 means called what? Linear polynomial. 2 means quadratic polynomial. So, in quadratic polynomial, if alpha and beta are the zeros of quadratic polynomial, so I told if they are the zeros of polynomial, right? Zeros of quadratic polynomial. So just now I told about the link between zeros and degree. Here the highest degree is 2 because quadratic. So 2 degree means 2 zeros. 3 degree means 3 zeros, right? Here the degree is 2, the zeros will be 2. So here that's why he says alpha and beta are the zeros of this polynomial, right? Ax square plus bx plus c. Then x minus alpha and x minus beta are the factors of x, the factors of px. So we'll explain this with the help of examples, so don't need to worry about it. Now let's say here sum of zeros, and we need to find the sum of zeros here. Sum of zeros is a coefficient of x divided by coefficient of x square, right? Product of zeros, constant term divided by coefficient of x square. We'll take this with the help of example, right? And this is called a sum of zeros. Alpha plus beta is minus b upon a. Product of zeros, alpha into beta is equal to c upon a. This is the basic formulas here, nothing else. So let's move on the question. Let's understand this with the help of a question. How? So this is a question here. Find the zeros. This type of question are repetitive in the they are regularly coming in the exam like this, right? How? See, question here is find the zeros of the quadratic polynomial this and verify the relationship between zeros and coefficients. Zeros and coefficients. See, when you need to verify the relation. How you can verify the relation? If you know the relation, then you need to verify it by the how you can verify. Let's say there are okay, let's understand it with the help of example now. Let's say here you have this equation x square plus 7x plus 10, right? We need to find the number of zeros. Zeros means there must be a value of x for which this equation will become what? 0. That is for sure. Now this is a quadratic equation. That means there must be two zeros. Why there must be two zeros? Because the highest degree is 2 here. So when the degree is 2, zeros will be 2. So that means there must be two zeros for which this whole equation will become what? 0. That means there must be two values of x. Zeros are nothing. Zeros are nothing but a value, that value of x for which the full equation of polynomial will become what? 0. So there will be two values for these zeros here. Now, how can I find these two values? You need to first of all factorize this. You need to factorize this. How? Now, how can I factorize it? Because let's say here, because I cannot put any random value like this x square plus 7x plus 10. Let's say I'll put x is equal to 1. I have to check whether it becomes 0 or not. X is equal to 2, need to check becomes 0 or not. So there can be so many values, right? So how do I find it? Now, first of all, what I need to find is I need to find the factors here. I need to find the factors here. We have studied already in earlier classes how to find the factor. So this I'm not going to explain here, but just have a quick glance here. This is x square plus 7x plus 10. So how to find the factor of this? You need to see the product of these two. It is what? 10. This is what? 7. So you need to break the 7 in such factor such that the product of this is 1. This 1 into 10 is 10. So it becomes what? 10. Now, if I break 7x as 5x in plus 2x, then this 5x plus 2x, right? That means, and if I do a product of it, 5 into 2 is what? 10. So that means it becomes what? It becomes what? 10. How? So I need to break. First of all, I have to see the middle term. How do you find a factor? You need to first of all see the middle term. So middle term here is 7x. We need to split this middle term. How we can split it? How would I know? I have to split as per one condition. Condition is that it must satisfy it, right? What needs to be satisfied? The product of coefficient of x square and the last constant. Here the coefficient of x square, see, it match with like this: ax square plus bx plus c. This is a quadratic equation. So this is the middle term, right? You need to split the middle term in such a way such that it matches the product of a and c. A and c. A is the coefficient of x square and c is a constant. Now here a is the coefficient of x square. What is that? 1. This is constant is called 10. So 1 into 10 is what? 10. So I need to split this 7x in such a form such that the product of first and last term a into c, right, such that it becomes equal to product of the last term. Now how do I break it? If I break 7x into 5x and 2x, I know that 5 into 2 is what? 10. 5 into 2 is what? 10. That means it match. So I can write 7x is what? 5x plus 2x. This you have already studied in the previous classes. So no need to explain it again, right? If you have not gone through that, please go through your previous class, have a quick glance of all the concepts which you have learned. Then it becomes very, very easy for you to understand it, right? So I'll break this in the factors here: 5x plus 2x. Once I'll break like this, I split the middle term, so it becomes like this. Then I have to take a common. I'll take a common x. It becomes x plus 5, then plus 2, x plus 5. Then take this two common factors, x plus 2 and x plus 5. So finally, there are two factors are coming, x plus 2 and x plus 5. So these are basically called the factors of this. These are called the factors of this. Now, just now we have studied here, if alpha and beta are the zeros of this, then x minus alpha and x minus beta are the factors of this. Now, let's say here, if these are the factors of this, that means the value for this equation is 0 for this and 0 for this. How? These are two factors which come, right? That means x plus 2 will be 0 or x plus 5 will also become 0. These are two factors, right? Now, how you say this? See, that means if x plus 2 is equal to 0, so x is equal to what? Minus 2. And for this, x is equal to what? Minus 5. That means on these two values, minus 2 and minus 5, these two values of x, on these two values of x, the equation of x square plus 7x plus 10 will become what? Zeros. That means these two values are called the two zeros of these two values are called what? The zeros of x in this particular quadratic equation of x square plus 7x plus 10. I hope you get this point. So this is a point out here. So first of all, you need to find the factors, and that factors, when you make it to 0, you'll get the value for which this equation will become 0. That means these two values are basically called the zeros of this particular equation. So that means the factors, so you need to find the factors. From that factors, you'll get the values of x, and that value of x is actually called the zeros of that particular equation. So I hope you get this point, right? Now, first of all, we have find the zeros. Now we need to verify the relationship between zeros and coefficient. So first of all, we have to find the zeros, which I already find it. Now how to verify the relationship? Now understand this. We have find zeros here, minus 2 and minus 5 in this just now. So how can we verify the relationship? In order to verify the relationship, just now we have studied here in quadratic polynomial, the sum of zeros is this and product of these zeros are this. Sum of zeros is coefficient of this divided by coefficient of this, and product of 0 is constant divided by coefficient of this. Now you just understand, That means if sum of this is equal to coefficient of this, that means this is the relationship of zeros and coefficient, and we need to verify this relation. Now, how can I verify? Verify means I need, see, sum of zeros is equal to this, is equal to this. That means in order to verify this relationship, the value on this side must be equal to value on this side. That means the value on the zero sides must be equal to the value on the coefficient side. If that will become equal, that means the relationship is verified. I have verified the relationship, because in order to verify, I need to I need to verify this equation. That is very important. And what is the equation? Sum of zeros is equal to coefficient of x upon coefficient of x square, something like this, right? So that's the point. So to become in order to verify it, I have already got -2 and -5 as alpha and beta, right? So this is sum of zeros. I find zeros here, -2 and -5. Now I know that sum of zeros is what? Minus b upon a. That is coefficient of x upon coefficient of x square. Understand it with this equation, right? Like this. Yeah. So this is x square plus 7x plus 10. Clear? Now let's see here. We have just now find -2 and -5 are zeros. So value of alpha and beta is what? -2 and -5. Now we need to verify the relationship. How verify the relationship? Sum of zeros is equal to coefficient of this. So take this as LHS and take this side as RHS. So LHS must be equal to RHS in order to verify, in order to establish that relationship. So we'll check it out here. We get the value of alpha and beta right now, -2 and -5. So -2 -5, right? When you -2 plus -5, it becomes what? -7. This is the LHS I have established. Now, next come towards RHS. RHS is what? Minus b upon a. So minus b upon a is nothing, coefficient of x divided by coefficient of x square. So minus of coefficient of x, right? So coefficient of x is what? Here in this equation, the coefficient of x is what? 7. This is 7. Don't confuse this 7. This minus is separate. Minus is separate basically, right? So this is minus, because it's actually in the bracket like this, minus coefficient of this, like so. This minus is basically separate. It does not attach with x like this, right? So this is minus of 7 upon 1. This 1 is what? Coefficient of x square. This is what? 1. I hope you get this point. So it becomes now again the value have come what? -7. So LHS value is -7. RHS is also -7. So LHS will become what? RHS now. Now once LHS will become RHS, that means the relationship is established. I hope you get this point. So in the similar way, you have established the relationship for sum of zeros. So now in the same sense, you will establish the relationship for product of zeros. Again, it's for product of zeros here. So for product of zeros, the relationship is what? Alpha into beta is equal to C upon A. So this is the coefficient part. This is a zeros part, right? So we have already all the values with us. We got the values of zeros as -2 and -5. When we multiply it, we'll get 10. So this is the LHS part. Now let's come towards the C by A. C by A is 10 by 1, because equation is what? X square plus 7x plus 10. So, or you can say like this, ax square plus bx plus c. So c by a, right? This c is 10 and a is what? 1. This is what? 10 by 1. This is what? 10, right? This is what? 10. So LHS will become what? RHS. That means the product relation is also verified. So sum of zeros we have verified, product of zeros we have verified in the context of zeros and coefficient. I hope you get this point. Because we can only verify it once we'll know about the zeros, right? So in order to find the zeros, first of all, we need to find the factors of this particular equation. And the factors are nothing. It becomes the values of that factors. Whatever factors we are getting, we have to put that factor is equal to 0. Then we get the values of x. That value of x will become what? Zeros of that particular equation. I hope you get this point, right? Now, this is the question here. One more question is like this, same concept. The question is totally same, right? So that will be your homework. So this question is going to be your what? Homework. You need to solve. You need to solve here. I have put the detailed solution here. First, try it by yourself. Try it by yourself. This is your homework. Right. This is your homework. So you need to try it by yourself, and after trying, you can see the solution. If you still find some difficulty, so solution is there in a very simple manner. You can say it from this. You can look at the solution, right? I hope you get this point. So same pattern of question. This is just a homework for you. Now, next here is um, another type of question, but on the same concept, right? Find a quadratic polynomial for the given numbers as the sum and the product of its zeros as 4 and 1. So we need to find the quadratic polynomial. In the previous question, the quadratic polynomial is given to you, and you need to verify the relationship. Now in this question, we have to form the quadratic polynomial. And what are the things given to us? We have given as sum of zeros and product of zeros. Sum of zeros are given to be what? 4. Product is what? 1. So sum of zeros. So we have know about the formula here, alpha plus beta. Just now we have said it. Alpha plus beta was what? Minus b by a, and alpha into beta, right? That is what? C by a. So this relationship was there in the terms of zeros and coefficient. Now here we don't need about this coefficient part. Zeros are sufficient for us. Why? I'll I'll explain you on the in the see here. Let's select this. Alpha plus beta is already given to you. That is 4. That is the called as sum of zeros. So alpha plus beta is equal to 4. Alpha into beta is what? 1. It's given to you. Product of zeros, right? So we have alpha plus beta is equal to 4, and we have alpha into beta is equal to 1. So I'll explain this question in two ways to you. No, understand how. I'll solve it with the help of coefficient also. I'll solve it with the help of this way solution also. How? See, alpha plus beta is 4 and alpha into beta is 1, right? And this 4 is nothing. This is minus b by a. We have studied the relationship that alpha plus beta is minus b by a. That means coefficient of, so that coefficient part, right? Just now we have studied for formula, no? That formula, right? This formula, right? Same thing. Coefficient of x square, right? That's the point. So same here. Now, see, understand here. Then alpha into beta is what? C by a, right? Now see this. How I'll find it? This sum of roots is equal to this actually. So whatever the value we are getting in alpha plus beta, that value will be equal to minus b by a. That is for sure. Now here, this alpha plus beta is equal to 4. That must be equal to minus b by a. Now minus b by a means this 4 must be what? 4 by 1 actually, because it becomes b, it becomes a, right? And understand one thing, this is actually simply not a 4. Understand here why it is not a 4, because it is minus b by a. It is minus b by a. Now see this, minus b by a is what? 4 by 1. That means, one sec, that means here, see, This is A. This is A, right? Just 1 second. This is A, right? Now, here the A is what? A becomes what? 1 and B becomes what? B is actually -4. Why it is -4? Now tell me. You can tell me that you have just now chosen B as a 4. Then how can you take B as a -4? Because understand, this is minus B by A. This is minus B by A. Now, how it is possible? Because it must be like this. Why the value become 4 like this? Because if this is minus B by A, now let's say for example, I'll assume it as a -4. Let us select this. -4 by 1. So minus and minus will become what? Plus. So it becomes what? 4 by 1. It becomes what? 4. So that is the thing which we actually getting. So the original value was what? -4 because it was actually minus into coefficient of these basically. So in the same sense, if I go with the product here, I'll get 1 and product is nothing C by A. So C by A is equal to 1 by 1. So C by A is equal to 1 by 1. So in this way, I'll get a value of C as 1, A has 1. So we know that A value is 1, C value is 1 and B value is what? -4. So we get all the values of A, C and B. And we know that if we have to find the quadratic equation, that is what? Ax square plus bx plus c. We get the values of A, C and B. Put these values. A is what? 1 here. So that is 1x square. And B is what? -4. So that is -4x. And C is what? 1. So the plus 1. So equation becomes what? X square minus 4x plus 1. This is the quadratic equation we are actually getting. So this I have found it with the help of that particular relation which we have studied just now. Relations that is a relationship between a zero and a coefficient of a polynomial, right? Now, if I don't want to use this coefficient part, no problem. Then also I'll get it. How? Here I've written this. If alpha and beta are the zeros of the equation, then the quadratic polynomial can be written as this. It can be written like this. That's it. This is called, see, alpha plus beta is what? Sum of roots. This is what? Product of roots. Product of roots. You can say product of zeros, product of roots are the same things, right? So actually it is like this. It is like this. If I make like this, 1 second. X square minus sum of roots into x plus product of roots. This is like this is equal to 0. So x square sum of roots is what? It is already given the question. That is what? 4. That is what? 4. So straightforward answer. And product of root is what? 1. It is 1. That is equal to what? 0. In this way, we'll form the equation. So I'll also suggest this particular way to solve this question because it is a very shorter way and very convenient way. Otherwise, you can solve it both the ways. Both are right. Upper part is also right because in upper part we have taken the use of coefficient. In this part, we don't require coefficient. We have only taken the use of zeros. I hope you get this point here. Because we are able to solve this question in two ways here, right? So let's move towards the next point, that is for the cubic polynomial. Just now we have gone for the quadratic. Now we'll come towards the cubic. So you know that cubic has a higher degree of 3, maximum degree of what? 3. So 3 degree means we have 3 zeros. We have 3 zeros, right? Now, these are the basic formulas here. We need to remember this in order to solve the questions. So we have 3 roots here, 3 zeros, 3 degrees. So that's called alpha plus beta plus gamma. Alpha plus beta plus gamma is equal to the minus b by a. Alpha beta plus beta gamma plus gamma alpha is equal to c by a, and alpha into this is called a product of roots, right? Product of zeros. You can say product of zeros or product of roots. No issues for that, right? So here, now let's solve the question directly here. So you have a cubic polynomial. Cubic polynomial with the sum part. Uh, with the sum part is with you. So you have a cubic polynomial with the sum of the product of its zeros taken two at a time, right? So we have a cubic polynomial with the sum part. Alpha plus beta plus gamma, the value is given to you, that is 2 by 1. That is 2 by 1, because that is equal to what? Minus b by a. That is equal to what? Minus b by a. So it is written. We have just now gone through the formula here, right? So that is 2 by 1, right? So how it becomes 2? Because alpha plus beta plus gamma is given to you as a 2, right? What is this 2? This is nothing. This is a sum. This is a sum of what? Zeros. Sum of what? Zeros. So 2, sum is basically 2. Now you can say, sir, if it is 2, this is minus b by a is equal to 2. So automatically 2 means nothing, 2 by 1. So I simply put as 2, but 2 is as 2 by 1. So this is the form what I have got, nothing else. This is right. So in this way I have taken like 2 by 1. So next is given to you in the question is minus 7, and that is what? Product of zeros but taken two at a time. So taken two at a time. Alpha beta is product of two zeros taken two at a time. Beta gamma plus gamma alpha. This is equal to what? C by a. This is equal to what? C by a. Now C by a, and it's given to us what's minus 7. Now minus 7 is here. So minus 7, I can write minus 7 as minus 7 by 1. Same thing. That is the point. Clear? So, and finally we have is product of zeros, product of its zeros. So product is what? Alpha into beta into gamma is what? Minus d by a. So minus d by a, right? So this is minus d by a. This is minus 14 divided by 1, because we can write minus 14 as 14 by 1, right? We can write 14 as 14 by 1, right? So in that's the form here. So now you can compare these three equations. You can very easily get it, right? The value of a is what? 1. A is what? 1. So the value of a is 1, and in a similar sense you can find the value of b is what? Minus of 2. So don't confuse why it becomes minus, because understand something, because this is minus b by a, and this minus is a separate of this. This minus is like this. Separation. How? So it must be like this. That means how it becomes a 2 here? It must be like this. It becomes like this, right? That's the point, right? So the b value must have been a minus 2. Otherwise, minus and minus will become plus 2. Otherwise, it will never become 2 by 1 here. That means the value of b must be having a minus 2 value, because this minus is actually separate. This is not attached with b like this, right? So I hope you get this point. So we have find like this. So b is what? Minus 2. In the same way, on solving, we'll get c is equal to what? Minus 7, and d is equal to what? 14. So we get all the values of a, b, c, and d, and now you can easily make a cubic equation. So cubic equation is like this: ax cube plus 3 degree power, then come towards a 2 degree power, that is b uh, that is bx square, then 3 2 1, and then constant. Always a polynomial will have to be make like this, right? So you can put the values of a, b, c, and d. On putting the value of a, b, and c, and d, you'll get this answer: x cube minus 2x square minus 7x plus 14. So I hope you get this point. It's very simple question, right? So I have explained this to you, and the same pattern of question is I have given to you in the form of homework. First solve it by yourself, then see the solution. I've given the explained detailed solution here in a very simple way, so you can refer that. Now come towards the next important concept. This concept is called division algorithm. Division algorithm. This is a very important concept in polynomial. Now, understand this concept first of all with the help of one very simple example. How? See this. Now take any two numbers first of all. Forget what we are doing. Take any two numbers. Let's say I have taken 12. I have taken let's say here I've taken 12. All right, let's take 14 divided by 6. 14 divided by 6. Or else I can also take like this. If I take it short here, I'll get 7 by 3. Let's take 7 by 3. Now see this here. If I take 7 by 3 like this, see, what is this 3? This is 3 here, this is 7, right? Now first solve this. 3 twos are what? 3 twos are 6. 3 twos are 6. Now still 1 is left with us. Now this one is called what? Remainder. This is called what? Remainder. And this 3 is called what? This is called divisor. And this 7 is called what? This is called dividend. And this 2 is called what? Quotient. This is called what? Quotient. Now understand something. Now I can write, see what I have done. I have multiplied 3 by 2 in order to get, that means I have multiplied 3 by 2 means I have taken the multiples of 3 in order to reach towards 7. But there is no number which exactly divides 7 by 3. So that's why the remainder has come for 1. That means now I can write this 7 is what? 3. I try to reach to 7. So 3 multiplied by 2 means 6. But still I cannot get 7. I get the remainder as 1. Get the remainder as 1. So I have write this like this. This 7 is what? 3 multiplied by 2 plus 1. So I have written like this, right? This 7 is. So I have written this whole division process in the form like this. Now what is this form? This form is nothing. This is this. Same thing. 7 is equal to 3 into 2 plus 1. So 7 is what? Dividend here. 3 is what? Divisor. 2 is quotient and 1 is remainder. This is a very important formula. This is dividend is equal to divisor into quotient plus remainder. A very important concept. So you always have to remember this, right? I try to explain it with the help of a very simple example. Now, let's take one example in which the remainder is 0. Now, let's say like this. I've taken like this 12 by, alright, let's say here, I've taken like this 6 by 2. So this is 2, this is 6. 2 3s are 6. Now here, this number 2 exactly divides 6. That's why the remainder has become what? 0. Remainder has become what? 0. Now I can write this 6 as what? 2 into 3, which I have done right now. That only I have done now. So 2 into 3 plus 0. And this 6 is what? Dividend. This is what? Divisor. This is quotient. This is remainder. This is remainder. See, the remainder has become 0. That signifies this number perfectly divides this. This number perfectly divides this. So if any number perfectly divides a given number, that means that number is a factor of that particular number. If 2 is able to divide 6, that means 2 is actually a factor of 6. Is actually a factor of 6. So let's understand this now. here, if px and gx are any two polynomials with gx is not equal to 0, then we can find the polynomial qx and rx as this, such that rx is equal to 0, and this now after that they have written this basic formula: dividend is equal to divisor into quotient plus remainder. See, this rx they have used here for remainder. That means the remainder should be 0. Here. Now, see this here. Just now I taken one example for you, 6 by 2. Because this number perfectly divides this. That's why remainder has come 0. So if the remainder is 0, that means this number is a factor of this particular number. This is for sure. I hope you get this. Now, see this here. This gx is nothing. This is actually a divisor. Px is what? Nothing. It is actually a dividend. Now, let's say here, he says a px and gx are two polynomials, right? So, no issues. There are two polynomials here. See, look at this formula. There are two polynomials with gx is not equal to 0. Then we can find polynomials qx and rx such that px is equal to gx into qx plus rx. That means this rx must be remainder, this px must be dividend, this gx must be divisor, and this must be quotient. I hope you get this point. So he says Rx is equal to 0. That means remainder must be 0. If the remainder is 0, just now we have taken one example 6 by 2. If the remainder is 0, that means the number in the denominator, which is actually a divisor, that means the divisor is actually a factor of what? Dividend. Then only remainder has come 0, no? Otherwise not possible. If you take the example of 6 by 2, 2 divides by 6, and 2 is actually a divisor and 6 is a dividend. That means divisor is a factor of dividend. Just now I told you, if a number divides another number, that means the number is actually a factor of that particular number, no? Because it exactly divides that, and if it is a factor, but in the mathematical terms, the below number is called divisor, above is called dividend. That means dividend is a factor of divisor is a factor of what? Dividend. That's the point out there, no? So I hope you get this point. So that's why it written if Rx is equal to 0, that means if the remainder is 0, then Gx will be a factor of this. That means a divisor is a factor of dividend. I've taken the example for 6 by 2 for you. But if he says if the remainder is not 0, then what will happen? Nothing has happened here. If the remainder is not 0, we can subtract remainder from dividend, and then new polynomial formed as a factor of gx and qx. Let's say if this is 7 by 2, 2, 7, 2 3 is 6, remainder is 1. Remainder is what? 1. Now 2 3 is 6, remainder is 1. Now understand something. Because I only need 1 in order to, so 2 3 6, I'll get 1 as a remainder. If I subtract this 1 from this dividend, then this dividend will become what? 6. Then 6 will now, that means now I have to divide this 2 by 6. Now it becomes perfectly divisible. It becomes what? Perfectly divisible. So when it becomes perfectly divisible, that means it becomes a factor of that particular number. So if the remainder is not 0, we subtract remainder from where? Dividend. And once we subtract remainder for dividend, it becomes perfectly divisible. And once it becomes perfectly divisible, it becomes a factor of that particular number, right? So I hope you get this point. So this is about the division algorithm. Let's understand it with the help of an example. Example here is You need to divide 3x square minus x cube minus 3x plus 5 by x minus 1 minus x square. Your first step is and verify the division algorithm. You need to verify the division algorithm. Again, the process of verification is coming. Whenever we need to verify, we need to make LHS is equal to RHS. Now, what is the LHS here? We know the basic formula, na? Dividend is equal to divisor into quotient plus remainder. That's a basic formula here. That's a basic formula. Or also you can write Px is equal to Gx into Qx plus Rx. Same thing. R for remainder, Q for quotient, this for divisor, this is for dividend. Right? So this is a Px. So we need to divide this by this, right? So this must be Gx, divisor. So that means here, yeah. So that means this Px is equal to, this is the basic thing out there. So Px is nothing here. This is a polynomial. This is a polynomial, bigger polynomial. There is a smaller polynomial Gx, right? So this is actually a divisor, and this is nothing. This is a dividend. This is a dividend. I hope you get this point. Now, so we need to divide this. First of all, very important thing in this division process. Understand this. This is 3x square minus x cube minus 3x plus 5. The power 3 is after power 2. First of all, arrange it in a proper format. 3 power will come in the first stage, then 2 power will come in the next step, then see in this descending order 3, 2, 1, 0 like this. Arrange the powers in descending order, right? So first the highest power, then the lower power like this. So if I have to write 3x square minus x cube minus 3x plus 5. So first I'll come as a highest power, then highest power, then square, then 1 power like this, right? In this way. So 3, 2, 1 and 0. In the same format, this we have to arrange like this. So first second power will come, then next power will come, and then next power like this. So after arranging, divide it, because this is a dividend and this is a divisor. So we always have to divide dividend by a divisor. So when we divide a dividend, this is a dividend here, this is the divisor here. Now, how to divide this? See, this is minus x square plus x minus 1. I'll put the dividend inside. Now see this here. Now see the first term, this is minus x square. See this term, minus x cube. You have to see like this. See, this is minus x cube. Divide like this. This is minus x cube and this is minus x square. If I cut like this here, minus minus cancel. This 3 power, this 2 power. It becomes what? 1 power, because it cancel out, huh? Because this is 3, this is 2. So this becomes what? 1x. That means 1x is more required to make it an x cube, to make it an x cube. So I'll multiply this x square by what? X. I'll multiply this x square by what? X. So when I multiply this x square by x, forget this part. I'll multiply this by x now. I have to make this equal to x cube, right? Because I just have a one short of x in order to make it x cube. How would I know I have a one short of x? Because I have tried to divide it by this, right? So I'll make it this, right? So this is a one short of x. So one shot of x is there. Now let's say this, if I multiply this by x, the whole equation is going to multiply it by x for sure. So minus x square into x is what? Minus x cube. Then 1x into next x is equal to what? X square. Then minus 1 into x is what? Minus x. So I have written full equation multiplied by x. Now after writing this, we need to subtract both these two. We need to subtract it. If we subtract it, minus plus minus. After subtraction, like this minus will become what? Plus. Then plus will become what? Minus. Just need to change the sign. Minus will become what? Plus. Plus will become what? Minus. And minus will become what? Plus. So after this, it going to be what? Cancel out, because this minus and plus will work cancel out. It's going to be cancel out. Then but now next step will not be cancel out here. 3x square minus x square is what? 2x square. 3x minus 3x plus x is what? Minus 2x. Then plus 5. So it's going to become like this. Now equation becomes 2x square minus 2x plus 5. Now what will I have to do? I have to make use of it. Now next step what I have to do is, I have to take this now next step what I have to do is, I have to make it to 2x square. I have to make it to 2x square in order to cancel it. How do I make it a 2x square? How do I make it a 2x square? See, I don't need to do anything. This is 2x square. This is minus x square. Minus x square. So divide both of them. This is, one second, just one second. This x square cancel, and this is it becomes what? Minus 2. It becomes what? Minus 2. Now that means I have to multiply now this equation with what? Minus 2. Minus 2. Now I'll multiply this equation by minus 2. So after multiply this whole equation by minus 2, what equation I'll get? Minus x square into minus 2 is what? 2x square. X into minus 2 is what? Minus 2x. Minus 1 into minus 2 is what? Plus 2. So after writing the equation, I have to subtract these two equations. When I subtract this, I have to change the sign. So plus will become minus, minus will become plus, plus will become again minus. Now after doing this, that means the first term is going to cancel out. Now in this scenario, second is also cancel out because it becomes same. Then yeah, and but the last term is not going to cancel out, because upper term is 5, lower term is 3. So after subtracting 5 from 2, it becomes what? 3. So that means 3 has become what? As a remainder. So 3 is what? Here as a remainder. So now, and x, see, now what will I get it out here? This is called dividend. This is called divisor. X minus 2 is what here? This is called what? Quotient. Whereas 3 is called what? Remainder. Now we need to verify this division algorithm. How we can verify? We need to verify as per this formula. Formula is what? Dividend is equal to divisor into quotient plus remainder. Now here, look at this. Quotient we get as x minus 2. Just now we see this here. This is the quotient we'll get as x minus 2. Right? This is the remainder 3. So this is the quotient, this is remainder. This is remainder. So we need to verify. This is LHS and this is RHS. So LHS must be equal to RHS. If we are able to verify this, so we are able to verify the division algorithm. So nothing. We know RHS value is nothing. It is a dividend value. So with dividend is nothing. The number which we have to divide it by, that is 3x square minus x cube, that number, right? So we have arranged it in the proper degree form, 3, 2, 1, 0. So we had the number become like this, right? Then after making the LHS is what? Divisor So divisor multiply quotient plus remainder. This 3 is remainder, q is quotient, this is divisor. So when we multiply it, let's multiply this. Open these two brackets. Minus x square into x is what? Minus x cube plus 1 x into x is what? X square. 1 into x is what? Sorry, this 1 into, what is this? Minus, yeah, that's fine. Take it. This minus, right? So when you just open these brackets and when you multiply it, you're able to get this particular number. You're able to get this, right? So, but this is nothing. This is actually equal to what? RHS. So when you solve it, after open the brackets, you are going to get this value. And this value is nothing. This is an original dividend, original polynomial. So dividend, and this dividend is equal to what? RHS. I hope you get this point. So you need to verify as per the formula. This is the basic thing which I will tell you. So I hope you understand this question now. Now move towards the next point here. Next question. On dividing this by a polynomial gx, the quotient and remainder are this. We have to find gx. Same thing, same pattern of question is there. This question I am using it for you as a homework. You have to study it on the same formula basis. Formula is what? Again, divisor is what? Divisor into, sorry, dividend is what? Divisor into quotient plus remainder. Everything is given to you, right? You have a dividend with you, you have a divisor with you, you have you have a dividend with you, you have a quotient with you, you have a remainder with you, but you don't have a divisor. No issues. You have three things with you. One thing you need to find, and you can easily find it, right? First, you'll take this plus side on this minus side. You'll take this here, subtract it, whatever it is here, right? After solving this, it becomes like this, right? Then gx will become what? This particular number divided by x minus 2. Particular number divided by x minus 2, right? I hope you get this point. See the last step here, right? So nothing, just put in the formula. After putting into the formula, you are able to get the value of gx, but you will not get the exact value now. It becomes like this: one polynomial divided by another polynomial, right? Like here, it becomes what? X minus 2 is here, and this polynomial becomes there. So we'll take x minus 2 in the division like this. See here, it becomes like this, right? By x minus 2. So we have to divide now. We have to divide in order to get this divisor. How we'll get it? We have to divide x minus 2 by x cube minus 3x squared plus 3x minus 2. By the same process which we have told you in the previous question, that how to divide it, right? How to divide that. So how you can divide it? You can simply, this is x minus 2. Now see the always, first of all, how would I know by what factor I have to divide? I have to this multiply. Now let's say here is this x minus 2. Always see the first factor. This is x cube. We need to make this as an x cube in order to cancel it. How would you do it? Take the first term x cube, which is given here. Take the first term x. Always take the first term. Divide both of them. When you divide it, you'll have what? X square. That means you have to multiply this whole equation by what? X square. When you multiply the whole equation by x square, x into x square is what? X cube. Minus 2 into x square is what? Minus 2x square. Then afterwards, you have to subtract it. You nothing have to do, just have to change the sign. This is a plus sign, it becomes what? Minus. Minus sign will become plus what? Plus. That's it. Then subtracted, it becomes cancel out. Then this is not going to cancel out because minus 3 and minus 2 are not the same number. So it going to be minus 3x square plus 2x square, because then it becomes what? Minus x square. Then remaining it's going to be put like this: minus x square plus 3x minus 2, and in the same way the whole process is going to be completed. And when it's going to get completed? When gx will become 0. That means when this remainder will become 0, sorry, that when remainder has to become 0. So when the remainder becomes 0, then we'll get the exact divisor. This will be the exact divisor which actually going to divide the dividend, because remainder has come 0. So I hope you get this point here. So we have gone through all the important concepts in this chapter. I try to explain the concepts with the help of questions to you. So practice this, right? So and always, if you have any difficulty, see the solution which I have given to you, and I'll show that you will definitely not face any problem, right? And one more request, please go through the 9th class chapter concepts. It's going to help you. uh, just have a quick glance of that concepts of the same chapter called polynomial, then later on come toward this particular chapter, because then it becomes very easy for you to understand this, right? So this is the all about this chapter here. So thank you so much and have a nice day. Take care.